You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Hey, happy Monday. We got Robbie in the house. We got John in the house. He's not on vacation for a change. Kenneth Bird, Preston, Marcus, CJ Design. Hey, welcome back, buddy. Easy Go Lucky in the house. We're Rupenstein, Ron. All right, so we got quite the crowd today.
Before we get started with anything,
okay,
I just got word from Robbie's assistant's intern that the show has to begin with the announcement of his win. This past weekend. Robbie, why don't you tell people?
Robbie's assistant's intern?
Yeah, he's got people now. He's not just Robbie in the comic book shop.
I'm a big deal now, Rex, because we are now the award-winning pop culture philosophers. I am the award-winning Rockin' Robbie Bills. I won the CBC Award, Comic Book Community Award, for Best Comic Book Review. Station.
Very nice. Awesome.
Can you imagine when Nick gets his new quote to be on the show? Man, that's going to be a shot.
Congratulations, buddy.
All this high-end European is going to be gone. We're going to be back.
We're so happy for you. John's going to send you a gift.
Congratulations, man. Seriously, all jokes aside.
And your Cowboys had oh my God, that was ugly. I couldn't even watch it, dude.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned. Well, see, it's ugly to me, and everybody today. Everybody's like, the Cowboys, the ESPN analytics say they're the best bet for the Super Bowl. And I'm like, did y'all watch the first 3 quarters of that game? Because I love the final score, but we were not playing good for that first 3 quarters of that game, man.
Let me tell you, ESPN's analytics, all right, not only do they have you guys having a much better chance of beating or going to Super Bowl than Eagles, they also feel that Dallas is the number 1 in the division. And for the upcoming Dallas Eagles game, their analytics have worked out. It's 71% that the Cowboys are winning.
Yeah. So I don't like that stuff because every time the media is riding high on the Cowboys, there's a collapse about to happen. So I need everybody just to calm down and let it play out. Okay.
Well, let me say this. It was ugly, not because obviously it was, for me, it was partially ugly that the Cowboys won, but it was just ugly and depressing for Jeff Saturday to leave Matt Ryan out there. That was just, it's like I got up to get something from the kitchen. As soon as I sat down, Ryan threw another pick? How many picks has he thrown? When they said 3, I honestly thought they missed 1 or 2. Okay. It just felt like every time I turn around and I look back, the Cowboys have picked off another pass.
Yeah. All in all, I had fun watching the game. I'm pleased with the result. A win is a win, regardless of what I feel about the first half of the game in particular. But it is time for Matt Ryan to hang it up. Like, it just is, man. It's sad, but he ain't Tom Brady. He ain't Aaron Rodgers. He's done, man. He's done, and he's just got to hang it up.
I got to tell you, it's pretty ugly. It is pretty ugly. I have to say that was. I mean, at that point, just pull him, please. Just pull him. Okay. I mean, come on, have some mercy on the guy. It was just ugly to watch. And it could have been anybody. It could have been the Colts could have been playing anybody. Wouldn't have mattered to me. That was at that point. It was time to stop. It just was just brutal. It was just absolutely brutal.
But our defense, man, wow, that Cowboys defense. I'm excited. Christmas Eve is going to be interesting for us, right, Rex?
I think all the chips are going to be on, pretty much, unless you guys keep, unless you guys lose and whatever. I think it's a lot going to be decided on that game. That's at least the one they picked will be meaningful.
Yeah, right. For sure. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope everything goes fine, but it's even crazier now because, the Commanders and the Giants couldn't beat each other. And then Garoppolo going out, I think that just kind of ended the 49ers' hopes, right?
Yeah, I was not happy to see that, but I saw them as legitimate NFC threat. I'm sorry. To this day, I still don't see Minnesota as a real threat under Kirk Cousins. Okay, overrated, always has been. Been pretty lucky this season. Fair enough. But yeah, CJ Design. As an Eagles fan, I will tell you that the slagging on Wentz was well deserved. Okay. All right, Carson is a major choker. Look at what happened in Washington now. Okay, but again, I don't think Matt Ryan was going to be the next savior for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, after Andrew Luck retired, they've got nothing. Well, Rubenstein, you know what? Let me see if I don't know. I don't even know if that Emma Frost sold. So I'll take a look at the next break, buddy. Triple B, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, easy go lucky. Yeah, I'm thinking Niners are out with Garoppolo broken foot, so he's done for the season. I don't see how that's going to happen. And they were doing good. I was disappointed. Obviously, the Jets lost yesterday. I'm rooting for the Jets. I'm a big Jets fan now. They're fun to watch. Come on, bro. You got to admit they're fun to watch this season.
And you guys dominated too. Let's not underscore that. You guys really took care of the Titans, man.
Yeah, I have to say I'm pretty happy with that win because and you've heard me mention this before in the last few weeks. I felt like the run defense was kind of porous, and to hold Derrick Henry to 24 yards, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and they were stopping y'all's runs, and so Jalen Hurts is like, that's fine. I'll just sling it all over the field, man.
That was the other thing I was really happy to see was, okay, we've ran the hell out of the ball, 2 weeks ago, and now we can do it in the air as well. That to me is very, very nice to see. But again, I got to admit, this is like the first time in a really long time that the Eagles have had this kind of receiver threat. Okay. And Goddard's not even back yet. I mean, with those kind of weapons, I mean, you got two wide receivers that can just light it up. That one catch that AJ made. I mean, oh my God, dude. I mean, the guy was all over it. There was like a window about the size of a shoebox to get that ball in. He managed to make that catch.
Then the other one, the guy tries to get in his face. He just knocks him down and just walks in backwards, man.
I got to admit, he had a little chip, obviously, coming from the Colts and stuff. But, I mean, that was just phenomenal to watch, man. But, all right, let's get to the best offer books. And I've been kind of binging this weekend. So I got some shows I want to bounce off of you guys. See if you guys have seen.
Oh, now you want to pitch shows to Robbie because he's awarded. Before that, it was, hey, man.
I didn't even know about the award. You're the one that brought it up. So if anybody can be accused of butt kissing, I would have to refer to my friend John Cole.
I'm paying the respect, man. He put in the work.
There's a fine line between paying respect and butt kissing. I'm just saying.
He put in the work. I show up 10 minutes before we get started, have something to kill candy. I get my comics, and I'm like, buy the books, everybody. Good night. That's like my whole bit. Nobody's giving me an award for that.
You never know. You do eat a lot of candy.
I'll be reading Gargoyles before everybody else, so that's an award in itself.
There we go. Should we consider that a name drop? All right. So best offer starting at 20. All right. So this is the first best offer book. Willow #1, variant signed in silver by Jeff Parker. And I picked this book specifically because I watched the streaming series Willow, only 2 episodes. So I'm not sure if anybody else has. It was okay. The Willow actor, the actor who plays Willow, he aged really well, by the way. Okay.
For sure.
That's why. What you think? What?
I can't even talk to him, Robbie. I can't even talk to him some
Look
days.
at him.
Warwick Davis. That's right, Jay. Thank you.
Look at
Warwick
him.
Davis. You mean Warwick the Leprechaun?
Yes, I know
Davis.
Buffy's Willow. We didn't have Willow the thing, but it had Willow in the title. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
I'm glad somebody noticed that, man, because I was like, this is not the Willow from that show.
No, it's not. It's not. I understand that, but yes, I know that. But it had Willow in the title. We don't have a Willow title.
My wife said that guy is a magic user. He hasn't aged a day in decades. That's not right.
No, I mean they did have they did flip back to the film. So he did look a lot younger, but he looked almost baby-like. But he really has aged.
He really has. You can tell. I don't know if that guy works out or whatever, eats right, but I mean, he looks great. I thought people were like, "Oh my God, it's going to be the same guy. He must be so old." Nice.
Marcus, I watched Willow, the streaming series. There are only 2 episodes up, so I was really bored this weekend. I ended up streaming quite a bit of stuff. But
did you catch up on Wednesday, $18.99?
Dude, I'm not retired. I said I was bored. I didn't say I was retired. Okay. Preston, yeah, and he looks like a girl. No, I'm kidding. So I pulled this out because it was there and it had Willow in the title, and I'm like, I had Willow on the mind. It was okay. It was okay. I'll leave it at that for now. All right. So the second book of the night, best offer, we have Porcelain #1, CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8, and it is a best offer book starting at $35.
Maria Lovett's a very hot artist at my comic shop. People love their work, 100%. This was a big book for us.
All right, so that is our other best offer book. Jay, I didn't even notice.
We talk about this a lot with Al, too. This is a perfect example of where all that creative energy is at the indies. It's like this didn't, this doesn't get seen, this doesn't get seen in Marvel and DC. It just doesn't. You know what I mean?
Tom Bishop, what's going on, buddy? Agreed.
Every retailer I've talked to has said the feedback has been good. It's not just Robbie. It's not just like 1 or 2 people. And I talked to a lot of these people on Twitter. Everybody said the same thing about this book. Like, man, I didn't really expect a lot, or I wasn't sure what to expect. And, now people are, there was this weekend at Los Angeles Comic-Con, there was a variety of cosplayers doing this, and there was a lot of merch, which I understand, unfortunately, was, pirated merch. But pirated merch is still an indication that, you should be making real merch then.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, nobody counterfeits a $1 bill.
That's my point.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Absolutely. All right. So, Kenneth, what's going on? Ed Weird in the house. What's going on, guys? So, Robbie, obviously, other than the award, all right, where Rubenstein, you got it, bud. I'm going to get you down here. So, where Rubenstein's going to open us up. Thank you, buddy. So how was your weekend, my friend? You won an award. Dallas absolutely destroyed the Colts.
I had a really good weekend. We had a great Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday. It wasn't necessarily my favorite content that we were reviewing. We were talking about this. We were talking about the Storm of the Century miniseries from back in the 90s. And it's just
so funny. I just usually watch that.
It's a bit long, and it feels longer because it just gets so repetitive. However, the whole crew on Dylan's Horror Show really gelled very well that night, and it was a great, fun show. Had a good weekend at work. Watched the Cowboys. I streamed live during the Cowboys game. Had some drinks. Had some fun. Won the award. It's been a pretty decent weekend. We did lose a member of our community named John Thomas, who was a big part of our chats and our inner circle. And
I'm sorry.
So that was a tragedy, but we went on without him, and we had some good times together reminiscing about him. So that sucks. And that's a loss that we'll always miss. So this is for JT Station.
So Thomas, I don't know. You might have. All right. So the first slab that we had, Thomas Bishop, Porcelain #1, CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8, suggested retail of $89.99. It is a best offer book, so you didn't really miss it. Our buddy Where Rubenstein is in the lead at 35. So if you want to put a claim on the book, a best offer on the book, you can. Plenty of time. All right. But currently, Thomas, it is at Porcelain #1, CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8. It is currently at 35, where Rubenstein, our buddy Where Rubenstein, is in the lead. So yeah, that's unfortunate. All right. All right. So you know what? Let's do this one. This is our bargain basement of the night. The Walking Dead #103, Chris Giarrusso, variant silver signature series, signed in silver by Chris Giarrusso. Suggested retail of $69.99. It is we have one available for $11.
Wow,
but these go to 11.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say this is for like that, Walking Dead completist or whatever. This is a nice pickup for $11.
All right. OBR, buddy. You got it, buddy. And welcome. All right. So that one is out of here. Yeah. So how's the weather down by you anyway?
It is raining like crazy right now. So it's 51 degrees and it's just rained all day. It's been kind of a miserable looking day, actually.
That's probably coming our way. Usually hits you guys first. So not looking forward to rain. Yeah. Did you hear about rain? Yeah. It's supposed to rain.
But it hasn't been super cold. You know, there was like 1 week in, I guess, early November, where it got freaking really cold, but it's still been very unseasonably warm here still. So we actually had some really bad storms last week because of it.
It hasn't been super cold here. Well, actually, I guess there was frost last night. So, all right. So here we go. All right. 32. CJ Design. What part of the country are you in? That's cold. 32 is cold. I don't feel like 32.
It's 39 right now. It's going to get down to 23 tonight.
Ooh, that's cold. 70, John Spilio, 72 here in South Florida. You know, that doesn't make anybody happy other than you, John. CJ's in Wisconsin. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's got to be pretty cold.
That's pretty warm for Wisconsin, right?
What's that?
That's pretty warm for Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, people in Wisconsin, they're still wearing shorts.
That's true.
So, John, what did you do this weekend?
Polished off a bottle of Restless Distillery bourbon. I was right before we came on the air. We went over to we have a local distillery right next to a corn farm. Where? And they have a variety of corn, whiskey / bourbon, moonshine products. Reckless Distillery. It's on 206.
Oh, I didn't know
on the way over to Columbus Market.
I did not know that.
And a couple food trucks over there. Went over to just check in and see them. Old friends with new trucks wanted to stop by and support them. And it was very nice in the distillery. We had helped them originally get on the food truck circuit. And the owners gifted me a very nice bottle of their gold label bourbon.
Oh, cool.
Which, you know, my wife was under the impression, oh, you know what, we'll take it home for Christmas and maybe it'll go in eggnog or something. By the time she turned around, we'd already had this thing open. 4 cups and 4 shots were poured out. So, yeah, she drove home from the distillery. But we finished that bottle and we had a real nice time by the fire. It rained a little bit, but they have like these eaves, like a big wooden wraparound porch. We were under the porch watching people get rained on out there. We got some really good food. Star of the Caribbean, top shelf Puerto Rican food. Oh. So I had a nice big container of arroz con pollo and bourbon. And, I was like, well, if this is the end of the road, it's been a blast. Thanks, everybody. I was super happy.
I'm just checking to see if I got a text from John inviting me to this. Apparently not.
Self-legal.
Well, he knew you were too busy watching Willow.
Touche, sir. Touche.
You need to put in some time with the streaming services. Just like Alec. I'm tired of you guys being months and months and years behind on shows.
Oh, my God.
Chop.
Please, I'm sorry. I can't afford to watch Avengers Endgame 92 times.
This is Pop Culture Philosopher Associated. This isn't like yesteryear culture associated. Let's talk about Master again.
I'm still a little behind. Like I haven't watched any of Wednesday yet, and I hear it's pretty good. What I just finished though this weekend was Legacy, which is a Hulu show that's like about the history of the LA Lakers, and I loved it. And the last
very well done.
Yeah, it's incredibly well done. And man, that show brought me to tears more than any scripted television show in the last few years. It really did, man. Reliving certain moments,
What show was it again?
It's called
Legacy.
Legacy.
Yeah. It's on Hulu, right? Yeah.
It's on Hulu, and it's about the Lakers, but it's more than just about that. It's about Jerry Buss and Dr. Buss and the family and all that kind of stuff too. So it gets
I have heard of this.
Behind the scenes too. It's a really good.
A little bit. They kind of talked a little bit in the show about how before there wasn't a lot going on. The Lakers weren't like a top tier team or anything. And when you're watching this Legacy, you kind of see how they became a top tier team. And I really like that because there's a time most Laker fans now, especially under like 35, they can't imagine a time where they're not in every conversation. When I was young, people barely remember there was a team in Los Angeles. There was hardly anybody in the West that was consistently good. The Lakers filled that gap, and they've basically been there for 35-ish years, almost 40 years.
Well, we were always really good back in those days, but the problem was that the Celtics always had our number back in those days when they had like Bill Russell and stuff, right? Yeah. But when Magic and Kareem comes on, and this is not the scripted show, this is a documentary. The scripted one's called like Winning Time or something like that. I have yet to watch that.
I think it's called Showtime. Showtime, maybe? Yeah.
I think it's Winning Time. I don't know. It's something like that. John C. Reilly's in it. I know that Nick's a big fan of that one, so I've been wanting to check that one out too.
It's entertaining, but it's not. Basically, they're opposite sides of the coin. Like that one is very much entertainment based and performance based, and it's really good. The Legacy documentary is more eye opening, informative. Like you really kind of develop like an attachment.
Right.
Yeah, they had me tearing up in that last episode because I had to relive the death of Kobe, and then to see like Shaquille O'Neal being interviewed and talking about it, and like because they had a big falling out, back in the day, and it's a really well done documentary. It's as good as any of those ESPN 30 for 30s that they've been killing it with, so it's really solid.
Yeah.
You know what I saw? I rewatched over the weekend as well, Daybreakers. So reminding me what a great film that was. So that was
Ethan Hawke.
Not Ethan. Is it Ethan Hawke?
And Sam Neill.
It is Sam Neill. It's Willem Dafoe. Is it Ethan Hawke? Is that Ethan Hawke? I think it is, right? Who plays the lead?
I've never seen Daybreakers.
Yeah. Oh my God, a horror film fan like you should watch it. It really is a very good movie.
About like a 2009 film.
Yeah, it talks about this dystopian future, but what's really interesting is just the way that the whole thing unfolds. It's really quite interesting. The whole premise is, what if vampires took over the world, and they just run everything like they normally run it. You go to work and whatever, except you go to work at night.
Is an early foray into alternate reality, right? If you are a fan of the alt reality genre, it dates back quite a bit, but it's just little things here and there. Man in the High Castle, long before it was on Amazon, was generally credited with being one of the first alt reality things that they did. I think that's Philip K. Dick. You've had Star Trek episode Mirror Mirror, but it was always real small. What If came out, the Just Imagine stories. I don't know in DC at the Just Imagine era if anybody thought that was alternate reality. They were just like made up stories. And, the comment is always, aren't they all made up? But, like Superman gets married, Batman gets married, whatever.
Well, yeah, I think that for you, Robbie, when we had that discussion, top 10 favorite vampire movies and werewolf movies, when we did those two segments, I told you that for me, it was, the reason I thought vampire movies were better was the ability to kind of expand the story. This is probably the single best example of what I'm talking about. Okay. So they created a society. So assuming this was very different, it was a reverse, right? So what usually happens in vampire movies? Society is happening as society does, and there are vampires lurking amongst us, right? And you got to be careful. And oh my God, I never knew you were a vampire, type of thing. Now flip that over and assume society is now run by vampires, okay? And humans become not only second class citizens, they're essentially livestock, right?
Yeah, it's like almost like this weird spin on apartheid. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I almost feel like this was based on a comic.
I'm not
100% sure, but it has that vibe.
It kind of makes sense.
And it's like a riff on apartheid, right? Where if you're not a vampire...
I didn't think of that, but that's a very good point, right? So you have, and all right, so I'm not going to spoil it for you, but imagine, what's the obvious logical consequence of that? Okay, vampires are, run society, the office buildings, they go to work, except, obviously they go to work at night, all this stuff. And humans become these livestock secondhand citizens, right? Well, like every problem when it overpopulates, what happens? You have food source problems.
Yeah.
So what happens when all the humans die out? What happens to the vampires? You got nothing to eat now, right?
Yeah.
So that's the premise. And then you can imagine all the very interesting kind of issues that will arise in such a situation when you set it up.
Yeah. There's some really cool ideas that Guillermo del Toro played with in the Strain book series and in Blade 2, where they're like basically keeping humans on ice so that they can just use them like a box of wine or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly. But
that's a great drop in, CJ. That's a great drop in.
But this is an entirely different aspect of it from I don't know. I guess it looks at it from societal kind of aspect.
I think part of the reason the movie didn't do as well as it should have is it had a less spectacular and more intellectual approach.
Yes.
Blade had Wesley Snipes with a samurai sword cutting people's heads off. That gets everybody into the movies. I don't think there's any. If you're a horror fan, if you're an action fan, if you're a Wesley Snipes fan, everybody bum rushes the box
I would
office.
agree with John's assessment.
When
actually,
you
that's actually
take a more intellectual approach to this thing. It's not quite as spectacular, right? Like I love Ethan Hawke. His performances, it depends on what he's doing, who he's with.
I didn't love his character.
It's hard.
He was kind of hard to
like almost like an anti-hero. It's hard.
Yeah, he was kind of whiny throughout it. I didn't love his portrayal, but the movie itself, the best comparison I can make is, as John says, a very intellectual kind of perspective. Very much like Interview with a Vampire. Okay. A lot of things to think about. Marcus. I like that. That's funny. So yeah, you being the horror buff that you are, I would definitely recommend watching it. I walk away from it going, wow, that was pretty cool.
Anything with Willem Dafoe in it is worth watching. Pretty much, like anything with Willem Dafoe in it is worth watching.
Sam Neill. Willem Dafoe, Ethan Hawke.
That's a lot of box office power to not get. They didn't get the bang for their buck that they should have. Yeah. And again, I think it was two things. First of all, certain production companies just don't believe in leveraging themselves to the eyeballs to buy marketing because it's a big crapshoot, right? It's even back in 2009 or 10. It wasn't a franchise film. You already kind of had that franchise era of the. But franchise. They
felt like they had the box office star power.
Yeah,
right?
They felt. If you heard those people, unfortunately, by 2009, it had to be more. Transformers made more than that movie, and that's a shame.
Thank you, Edward, for doing the research. I did not know that it was an international co-production between Australia and the United States and debuted at the Toronto International Film Festival. That I did not know, but it really was an excellent movie that didn't get its fair share. But we got to go to our first break, so hold that thought. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about it. All right, stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid and you got a letter in the mail? Now imagine that letter was filled with information about your favorite shows, pop culture questions, links to things you're going to want to see later, and even sneak peeks at upcoming programming here on The Experience. That's what the EXP mailing list is. Every week, we send you sneak peeks, information, and all of the relevant links for all of the shows you want to see. Sign up now on our website or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now.
You just finished the last episode of your favorite new show, and you just have to talk about it. But all your friends are ghosting you because of that incident last week at the buffet. Oh, you know the one. What you did to that chowder. Ugh. Keeps me up at night. So what do? Join writer Dan Wickline as he breaks down all your favorite pop culture media. Whether it's a review of the latest nerdy TV show or a dive back into the history of your favorite comic characters, Dan's ready to discuss all the hottest topics live. Join the conversation as Dan live streams Tuesday through Thursday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Dan Wickline Show on The Experience. Comic culture and sales.
Did you know that every Experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
All right, we're back. John's trying to get Green Hornet published as a daily. And weird, you know what? I didn't think of that. Daybreakers was released the same time as Avatar and Sherlock Holmes, so maybe that's why it didn't get that kind of traction. I didn't, obviously I'm not a movie theater goer, so I saw it probably 2-3 years after streaming somewhere. I'm guessing, but yeah, you got to check it out, Robbie. It's a great film.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll really enjoy it. So, will Green Hornet be printed as a daily now?
I wish. No, I wanted to grab the books this week. They'll be out on Wednesday. We've been waiting for this for a while. I'm going to run up here and throw this. This is the Amanda Connor cover. There's all kinds of covers. This is going to be huge. Greg Wiseman's Gargoyles. People, from what I understand, are pretty excited about this. So I'm looking forward to this. There was a ton of Gargoyles cosplays at Los Angeles Comic-Con this past weekend. This is another book we have out this Wednesday. I'm enjoying this a lot. Vampirella Red Sonja it's almost like it should have been done sooner. It's so good. And there'll be the usual variant covers. And
Ryan, thank you so much, dude. Thanks for subbing up and thanks for saying that, man. You must have been talking to my mom.
No, awesome.
No, I'm saying because he says we're awesome.
Well, it's,
we know we
Some
were
of us
talking.
are
winning, but we do all right.
We know your wife ain't saying that.
Oh no! Every time I leave the house, this is awesome. I hear.
Yeah,
so
but but that's different. That's an entirely different context, right?
Black Phone, Triple B Hardcore just mentioned Black Phone. To me, Black Phone was more of like a serial killer type movie than a horror movie. I understand it had supernatural elements to it, but to me, that was more. My wife loves seeing someone get murdered, man. Her sisters too, whether it's British, Australian, they love watching. Everything has to start with a dead body on the floor for them. And that's a little bit what this reminded me of, like a serial killer or whatever. He's kidnapping people, he's murdering them in his basement. There's more to the Black Phone than that, but I see people talking about, oh man, is this the best horror film of the year? No. Not in the same year that Barbarian and Smile came out. Absolutely not. You can argue Barbarian, Smile. There's a couple other movies out there in the mix. I don't want to hear how Black Phone was the best horror movie of the year.
Black Phone really came out and just like everybody was talking about it. And so I was rather excited to check it out because I had read the Joe Hill short story. And I love Ethan Hawke and it looks cool. And it, what's his name? The Grabber or whatever they call him. He has the potential to be like an iconic kind of horror villain. Like, you're right. The Mask and all that stuff. But I didn't like the movie that much. Like, it just kind of felt like generic, like Stephen King bullying and like, just, I don't know, like the reading. Now the short story is only like 9 pages, right? So they really had to elaborate on some stuff. And I just don't like the added bits that they did. I thought it was all right. But as far as the best horror movie of the year, and people have been saying that, and I just will say I respect.
Yeah, you've heard that too, right? That amazes me.
Yeah, I respectfully disagree with that. For me, it is between Barbarian, X, and Pearl for the best horror films of this year, in my opinion. But it was better than Halloween Ends.
Yeah, I just...
Man, you really didn't like that movie.
No. And that movie doesn't like us, so we need to stop acting
that's like a mutual dislike society there. Barbarian was really good. X and Pearl to me is almost like one movie. And not to be unfair to the creators, but that seems to me like it's just one big long movie broken into 2 movies, which I don't have a problem with, but I don't know how you pick one or the other.
Well, they got 2 different vibes though, right? Like Pearl's way more of like it's inspired by like Wizard of Oz and old school Hollywood, and then X is straight up 70s sleaze trash like slasher, you know, and I love it. I love it so much. And there's going to be a third one called Maxine where it takes place in the 80s. So I love both of those films so much. Mia Goth needs to be nominated for Pearl because her last there's a soliloquy in there. That's some of the best stuff I've seen from a performance this year.
Send that clip to the Academy. That was really good. And of course, sometimes I hate to say it, but people don't see Academy level nomination performances like a horror movie or sci-fi movie or whatever. Somebody from they covered the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, and she even said, and I'm not simply referencing this because I like the movie, but she even said it's hard for the Academy to ignore the emotional resonance in some of these movies, like Avengers: Infinity War. You know what I mean? She's like, some of these scenes were really, really like, and I think she was probably talking most about Tobey Maguire.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, you know, it's hard to not even take that into consideration. She's like, there, you know, the whole audience is there just, you know, like essentially like on the edge of tears as this is going on. Didn't matter.
All right. So I saw John Spilios in the house earlier. Hopefully he is still here. We have a Punisher sketch cover. So we're going to throw it up right now. All right. So it's X-Men Battle of the Atom #1. And I forgot to put that in the description. Signed with Punisher cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $149.99. We have the one available for $74.19. All right. Hey, John. So I wanted to call you out because I know you love all things Punisher. So 1974, is that the first appearance of Punisher, I guess?
Yeah.
All right. So John's taking it, buddy. All right.
Hey, John, if you want, you can send it to me first, and I'll draw a couch on the background to make it look like he's just chilling on the couch shooting out some guns.
Nobody wants that to happen.
That's
nobody, Robbie.
You know what that is? That's Old Man Castle.
I know you won an award and all, but it don't make you an artist or nothing, bro.
Okay. Letting it go to my head now, right? I'm like, I think there needs to be a couch back there.
You know, the Cowboys kicked the living crap out of the Colts. Does not make them Super Bowl winners, okay? Let everybody just step back.
I agree with that.
Congrats, John. I figured you'd want that, buddy. When I saw it, I pulled it and said, I gotta put this one on the show for our buddy John. All right, so let's see. What should we do next?
Oh, you know what I want to do too? I want to just take a second and thank everybody who showed up at Los Angeles Comic Con.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There was a lot going on this weekend, Dynamite-wise. There were a lot of creators were there. Dave Avalone was there. Some of the cosplayers were there. Megan Random and Rachel Holland were actually almost like play fighting or whatever. You know, so people get pictures or whatever. Gracie the cosplayer was there. She did a bunch of really cool cosplays, including Spiral. You go look on her social media. The Spiral was, I mean, she's super artistic. We've talked about this before. She's a cake artist. She's very, very art-oriented with her cosplay. And there were some other people there, too. They had a con-exclusive cover that was done by Desert Winds for Vampirella for Rachel Holland, and that disappeared real quick. She suggested if anybody wants one, couldn't make it to the con, check out her site later in the week, because I don't know how many of those are. I don't know how many were sent, and I don't know how many she has left, but I know there's a significant amount of them that disappeared. So we just wanted to give everyone a shout out in that LA area or people that shot over to that con. Thank you much. I mean, you know, we really appreciate it.
They got in trouble with security, didn't they?
Until Nick has it. They were kind of asked to settle down a little bit with the the sword fighting and so forth.
Security was not pleased.
I mean, it's not as good as the Mariano story. I'm waiting for Megan Fox.
Nothing is as good as the Mariano
That's
story.
The best story, especially if you know Mariano. Just kind of like a, you know, quiet, scholarly gentleman. Not the last guy to bomb into.
Try to muscle his way
if
in.
you and I gate crashed an event, they'd be like, yeah, that's John and Rex. after like 9 shots. Of course they did that. Mariano was not the guy to
Wait, 9 shots each or split between 2 of us?
What are we, kids?
No,
Each.
thank you. Just checking. Just checking.
I needed 4 shots to get here.
Let me pull out of the driveway or the parking lot first, okay? All right. So, this is a neat one. All right. So we have Strange Tales featuring Warlock number 178. This is signed and from the personal file copies of none other than legendary Jim Starlin.
Oh, man.
All right. So this is part of the comps that he got. He signed it. It's been in his personal, one of his personal file copies. And we have the one available. Suggested retail of $300, and we have the one available for $200. So not only is it signed by Jim Starlin, it is also one that he personally owned and was in part of his personal file collection.
There's just something really cool about that. You know what I mean? Like having the book, from like not just like the
creative keep. Yes, sir, it is.
But
it is the full comic
collection. That's pretty cool.
Nerdtastic. Is the super chat menu up again? What's going on? Are we doing some drinking?
He's referring to my live stream last night where I had.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was fun. I started
up for that, Robbie.
I started off.
People will pay me to drink.
It was a fun night, man, and like immediately Spilio came in and had me chug 2 beers, and then I had to do a few shots, and then we watched the Cowboys game. So my commentary, I'm sure, is pretty hilarious to some people.
Oh,
it's mostly like, what did they do that for? It was a fun night.
Oh, I bet it would have been a funner night if the Cowboys weren't winning by that much.
Well, the last time that I did that was that Sunday night game against the Eagles, and that went bad for me.
That went bad.
Marcus says award-winning commentary. I'm gonna have to go. You post it?
Yeah, it's
you post it?
Oh,
all right. I'll check that out, man. I'm gonna have to check that out, my friend. All right, so let's see. Let's do another book here. What do you think? You know what? Let's do a Dynamite book.
We had something. John just mentioned Mike Zeck. We had something from Mike Zeck's collection last year.
I feel like we did too.
Yeah, we had something like from like his personal file copy. We had that. I remember that. I'm not sure what the book was, but I remembered it was Mike Zeck book.
All right, so let's do Vampirella versus Red Sonja number 1. FOC Virgin Incentive UV cover 1-in-10 ratio by Lucio Perillo. It's just a retail of $50, and we have the one available for $40.
This series is very, very cool. It kind of interacts with the Project Superpowers. We had Dark Powers and Superpowers, and I don't want to say this is a direct continuation, but this is sort of, you know what I mean, seeing Vampirella and Red Sonja in together, of course, but and there's been books more Dynamite's done books before with Vampirella and Red Sonja in them, but this is something very different, and this has like the full spectrum of variant covers, which makes me very happy. I mean, you go to something that elaborate, Ultraviolet, and then you go to, line art by Joseph Michael Linsner. They are pretty much,
And weird, answer what, buddy? So I don't know which question you're referring to, buddy. All right, so that is available tonight, and you know what? There is, my friend. All right, so the free giveaway tonight is Betty Page number 1, Atlas Comics limited edition series signed by David Avalon. You want to tell us the last time you talked to Dave Avalon?
I talked to Dave Avalon yesterday when he's coming back from Los Angeles Comic-Con. He was one of those people.
That's a name drop.
Wanted to, extend like a thank you. A lot of people came out. They wanted to talk about Betty Page. They wanted to talk about Elvira, which is, I think, next week. Elvira is out next week. Dave is like a really cool dude. Dave is one of those guys that's been around LA for like a long time. I think he's an East Coast guy, but he's originally, he's been out in LA for a long time. He's worked on different shows, movies, different genres, platforms, formats. Dave is a really cool guy to have like a little bit of a conversation with.
Hey, Jay, can you throw the hashtag up? I don't know. I forget what we were going to make the hashtag. Is it just hashtag LoveEXP? I'm not sure.
And he's mentioned it before. He has more ideas for Betty Page. I always feel like...
want it to be LoveEXP?
Yeah.
Make it that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's make it just hashtag love EXP. Makes it easy.
Okay.
I thought we should do an hashtag award winning, but okay, that's fine too.
Do we have another giveaway?
You should have said something earlier.
No, there's too many letters in that, man. Too many letters.
All right, so make sure you throw up in the chat hashtag love EXP for a chance to win Betty Page signed by Dave Avalone. All right, and we will draw it right after best offers end at 7:55. All right. So what else I watched this weekend? I feel like I watched a whole. Oh, I told you about. I mentioned this last week. Warrior Nun.
Oh yeah, that's just a fun show.
Yeah, that's a really good show. Have you watched that, Robbie?
No, did you say Warrior Nun?
Yeah, Warrior Nun.
There was a comic book back in the day called Warrior Nun.
Yeah,
right?
It's based on the comic.
It's based on the comic. It's like zombie with a shotgun. Like
they did a real good job. Yeah, they did a real good job. I thought the acting was strong. Not anybody very notable in the cast, right? No real big.
No, I don't think so. Every time the title card comes up, my wife without her glasses says, "Oh, isn't that 11 for Stranger Things?" And I'm like, "No." Again, every time you ask, it's never 11 from Stranger Things. Put your glasses on.
It's a good show. It's only 2 seasons long and it ends, so it's
it's not like this ongoing investment.
Right.
And
And I like the premise. You know, there were a lot of questions that they posed that may make certain people uncomfortable. You know,
I think it's more
the concept of God and everything else.
It's more than just a slasher show. People look at it and they're like, oh, it's just, it's just like another slasher, kung fu, martial arts type thing. No, I mean, there's more to it. It's not just like Kill Bill.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, John Spilios. Marcus Ebola Holmes.
It's just Enola Holmes. Actually.
Well, no, I know. I tried to watch that this weekend.
What, Enola Holmes?
Yeah, I couldn't get through. It's the second part, part 2.
Oh, that's right.
I couldn't get through a half hour. I couldn't. I just turned it off. I couldn't. It just no.
There's going to be a third one next year.
Well, good luck to him. Good luck to him.
Well, come on. They have Henry Cavill in there.
First of all, he's the worst possible person to cast as Sherlock Holmes.
There are various. If you look at Sherlock Holmes throughout both cinema history and the descriptions by Arthur Conan Doyle, at no point does he look like Superman. He just doesn't. I'm sorry. He never looks like Superman. And to get the Superman actor to play him, that's.
Yeah, I always thought he looked more like Peter Cushing, right?
Everybody kind of feels like he should look that way, right?
Peter Cushing is probably the best well-known answer. The BBC also did one with an actor, Jeremy Rett was very good in that role. To be fair, he very much looks like Peter Cushing when he was younger. So there's like a reason that works.
There's a look. It just that so doesn't work for me.
Well, I had the problem with when I love Robert Downey Jr. I think he's just his ability as an actor, I think is.
Yeah, it's weird. That's a good point. Iron Man and Superman played Sherlock Holmes. But Basil Rathbone. That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Preston.
When you had Robert Downey Jr. trying to pull off Sherlock Holmes while being Iron Man, that's a big stretch. That was a real stretch.
That one was at least. I
like the first one. I like the first RDJ Sherlock. I don't necessarily like the second one as much, but I really do like the first one.
Yeah. I think the second one they were just trying to cookie cutter it into part 2.
Well, they bring in Moriarty, and it just didn't. I don't know. He just didn't feel threatening or epic enough to me. Right. I don't know. The other thing is, I do like that BBC show that Benedict Cumberbatch did, or whatever his name is.
Yes, I enjoyed that quite a bit. Yeah,
Sherlock is very good. And if you want to see,
and he looks like, I don't know, in my mind's eye, he looks like Sherlock.
If you want to see a dangerous Moriarty, then that's the version of Sherlock you watch.
Yeah, I love it. It's such a weird Moriarty too, but I love how they do certain things. Like instead of the waterfall, they're at like this swimming pool, and I just really like some of the changes they made to modernize it. I really did.
I think his actor. I'm trying to think of that actor's name who plays Moriarty. Andrew something.
I can't
think of his name, but he's really, really good. He's been in other stuff too. I see a lot of these actors because, like I said, my wife has got BritBox, Eggcorn. There's British TV on in her TV room all the time.
John, Andrew Scott.
Thank you. So I see these people in other things, so they're familiar to me. I've seen that guy in a bunch of stuff. He played like a British soldier and some other thing my wife watched. I had no idea the guy had Moriarty in him. I was shocked because I see him and I'm like, oh, okay, in my mind I've seen him. He's like a British officer. He was something else. He unleashes Moriarty and I'm like, what am I looking at here? It was wild.
I have to say that the Downey Jr. Sherlock, I like that. I liked it, even though he didn't quite fit the traditional. Robert Downey Jr. is enough of an actor that he can pull it off. And their portrayal was a different kind of Sherlock than we've seen before. So I appreciate that.
I like the style of the film
Sherlock
too.
was phenomenal. What?
The style of the film too, I really like because it's Guy Ritchie, the guy that did Snatch and Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. Yeah, I really like his work as a director. So,
Cumberbatch, I loved his Sherlock Holmes. He looks the part. He's a great actor, obviously. Who played
Jude Law?
No. Who played
Freeman?
Watson?
Martin Freeman.
Yes, I thought he was great in that role. So that was a great series.
Another great Sherlock TV show is House because it's basically Sherlock as a doctor, and so Hugh Laurie does a great job too as a Sherlock type in a different.
Well, we had a Sherlock TV show with Lucy Liu as Holmes.
Oh my God, that was
Johnny.
really bad.
What was his name? I can't think of his name now.
Yeah, I know the actor you're talking. That was
Johnny,
brutally
I can't
bad.
think of his name, but
That
he
was
played Sherlock, and I think the show was
Johnny Lee Miller, right? Is that Johnny Lee Miller from Trainspotting, right? Yeah.
I think Johnny Lee Miller did a good job. I think the show as a whole
which didn't work.
It just didn't work, and I don't even blame Lucy Liu. Because, you can be anybody and be Holmes as long as you can, if you're competent enough.
Well, she was Watson.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're competent enough to be a Watson, like I need actors to at least act and look what they're supposed to be. Like if I ran into Lucy Liu on the street and she said, "Hi, I'm Dr. Lucy Liu," I believe she was a doctor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I would agree with you there.
But the show, for whatever reason, sometimes you have all the pieces. And I think this goes back to Daybreaker. You had all the pieces, right? Everything seemed to fit okay. And so great cast, cool story. You had a market that was embracing the genre. It just didn't.
You see, the problem was it felt like that show tried to be that show Monk without the idiosyncrasies, and they're not realizing that, trying to use the Sherlock Holmes kind of
the idiosyncrasies make the show.
Yeah, exactly. That was the point. So you kind of watch it like, well, nobody's really special here, It's like I found myself when I watched that series, like, well, Monk could do that better and funnier, It's like,
and the other problem too is it's Sherlock Holmes, right? We've had 5, 6, 7 iterations of Sherlock Holmes done better than this, right? Yeah. I mean, it just kept, and by the time you got to like the 2nd or 3rd season, it was like the worst iteration of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I
mean, people were happy with like the Willy Wonka Sherlock Holmes version or Gene Wilder Sherlock Holmes version. It was not
Thank you. So Big Herm says, thank you. Thanks for joining us, Big Herm. He says he's here for you, Robbie. And our buddy Nerdtastic says he came here for you, but we've engaged him with our useless banter, our spam and recaps, and occasionally we sell books. Thank you, Nerdtastic, though. Hey, Lars, man, what's going on, buddy? I saw on Facebook you're home from surgery. Hopefully, seems like everything's okay.
Yeah, I saw that. Good luck, Larry. Take it easy, bud.
Saw a picture of your really cute dog.
Yeah, go slow, man. Go slow.
Yeah, hope you're doing okay, buddy. I was gonna mention I haven't seen you in a while. And why are you showing up as Larry Stevenson and not Lars Man?
Well, I mean, you think his parents looked at him as a baby and said, "Let's call him Lars Man"?
Well, no.
I mean, that would be cool. But
but since the beginning, when he joined our show, was Lars Man. So all of a sudden, he's like taking off his Superman glasses. Hi, it's Larry Stevenson. But
I want him to go into work. Hi, do you have a business card? Man, Lars.
Stevie B, I love that movie. How about Sherlock Holmes' The Smarter Brother?
That's what I was talking about. You had the Gene Wilder movie, and you sort of the longer that Sherlock Holmes series with Johnny Lee Miller was on, the worse it got. Like if they had cut it.
Was that one question though? Was the Sherlock Holmes Smarter Brother? Was that a Mel Brooks movie?
I think Mel Brooks people were in it. I do not think it was a Mel Brooks movie.
He may have produced it, maybe even. I don't know, but
I love that. I mean, that was great. The Smarter Brother. brother. Gene Wilder, I thought, was a phenomenal actor and a comedian.
I'll tell you something that I'm a fan of, and it's kind of schlocky, drive-in theater type stuff. Robbie may have talked about it on his show. It's horror, but I don't know if it's hardcore horror, is Blackula. Robbie Barnes, whose name came up before, somebody mentioned in the chat, whoever it was, I'm sorry I mentioned it, he's working on like a Blackula project. And he did Marvel's Runaways. He's the Boondocks guy. I think most people know him most commonly. He's the Boondocks guy. So I'm kind of a little bit hopeful that Blackula won't be quite so campy, especially the second one, Blackula Rises Again, was really campy. I'm kind of hoping it's maybe a little bit more, a little bit more horror.
Right.
The actor who played Blackula was perfect in the role, but the script called for him to be sort of
campy.
It's an exploitation film.
I remember.
Right? It's a blaxploitation film is what it is.
I was trying to remember the name of that. There was like a specific name for that genre of film. Yes, Robbie Barnes. That's who. Somebody mentioned him earlier.
I think it was
all
Jay.
Right. So
apparently he did the Winning Time show.
Okay.
All right. So we got to go to our next break. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. It was Jay.
It was Jay.
Comic Collectables is here for you every Wednesday with AR Comics for two very important reasons: to sell you rare, one-of-a-kind comics that you'll love, and to confuse AR with old man talk. You see, Rex and John are, how should I put this, ancient as the roots of the mountains. So every week, Rex and John fill in AR in yet another area of pop culture that he missed because he's too young, just didn't have the time, or just really doesn't care about. It's a real public service they provide. Come buy some super rare and unique comics, while old men explain long-dead sci-fi shows to a younger man making that confused puppy face. Every Wednesday from 6 to 8 Eastern with Rex, John, and AR Comics. Comic Collectables on The Experience. Comic culture and sales.
Go follow The Experience on TikTok at @the_EXP1 or scan the QR code on the screen. Our TikTok is like everywhere else we are, except you only have to deal with us for a minute. Seems like a win-win to me. Who would win, Batman or Superman? It's the age-old debate, except it's so much more complicated than that. Nerd Killer Warfare every week on The Experience is your chance to debate other nerds in the questions we've all been asking for years, except we take those debates and turn them up to 11. Go to bit.ly/EXP casting or scan the QR code to be part of the show.
You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hey, we're back. Hey, Legacy, you're right. John and I are just talking. I can't believe we forgot that.
Holmes and Watson with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly is Step Brothers cosplay, and I love it.
Oh, man. Neil, what's going on, buddy? Hope you're doing well, my friend. All right, let's get to another couple of books, and then
Ronald and like one other person are here for books. You want to read some?
Yeah. We'll do 2 books and then we'll do the Rex Cap. All right. So we have
2 books.
Oh, you know what? We have something for our buddy Larry. All right. So we have Amazing Spider-Man #1, Legacy number 802, signed by Ryan Otley. Number 10 of only 130 signed. Suggested retail of $49.99, and we have the one available for $30.
Oh wow!
So, I've been trying to make sure that I get, Larry goes, Veggie Lovers special pricing.
I'll tell you right now, if you want to hear a
all right, you got it, Lars, man. You got it, Larry.
If you want to hear a creator have a good sense of humor, listen to Ryan Otley talk about taking over from Cory Walker on Invincible. Because Cory Walker and Robert Kirkman co-created Invincible. People immediately loved it. It was one of the best takes on that I've seen. And I guess Cory Walker, for a variety of reasons, realized I just can't, I can't do a book every 5-6 weeks. It's just not in me. So Ryan Otley comes on board. And it was right at that point where everybody on the internet decided they were going to have an opinion. And they were almost always bad and wrong and horrible opinions. And Ryan Otley is one of those first guys that just got roasted, absolutely roasted. His work is amazing. His work is amazing on pretty much everything he does, no pun intended in the Spider-Man book. But the guy just sort of he tells the story in a really entertaining way. So if you get to a con and he's there, if somebody doesn't ask the Invincible question, be the terrible person who asks the Invincible question. Because the answer is hysterical.
So, Neil, buddy, I first of all, I know you've watched a show before. You didn't know about the spam thing? We love spam. Okay,
big fan.
And I have to say that I realize that maybe my love of spam has gone overboard.
Why?
Because now, when on my Facebook, they read the algorithm, I get spam commercials. There's this one that keeps popping up. This woman's making spam and ramen noodles for her husband. Okay, and it's like a little commercial with spam. Okay, she's frying up the spam and puts it in the bowl with the ramen noodles. And I'm like, wow.
We have a get together usually Christmas Eve for our friends and family. I was asked to make spam fries this year, even though I told people I kind of was done cooking. I got a request from like 3 different people to do the spam fries.
What are spam fries?
Spam fries are, you kind of have to cut the spam, you have to wash it off, dry it really carefully. You kind of run it through a fry cutter, a potato fry cutter, and then it has to be par frozen. Then you run it through the potato fry cutter, dry it again, a little bit of seasoned flour. Then you can drop it in fryer oil. I love doing them in the air fryer because they're easy to clean up. So they basically look like hand-cut French fries, but they're spam. And then you can dip them in a variety of, whatever you want.
All right, so hold up. I got another question for Neil. Neil, it's not really going to be negative 41 Celsius where you live, is it?
Where do you live?
I don't know, but he'd have to be literally in Antarctica.
Yeah. He's downstairs. He's down there in a research station, right? Fighting off alien dogs and stuff, right?
I was going to say, if you're in a research station,
we'll send spam.
He's in Canada. When you're in a research station, the second somebody says, "Hey, look what I found in the ice," leave it alone.
We need to send Neil like a care package of spam to ward off the animals and stuff.
And if your power goes out, you can just burn it, and it's like a candle, right? A spamdle.
Major Matt Mason. I pester Jeff Parker constantly about doing a Major Matt Mason.
Who do you pester?
Jeff Parker.
Okay. Drink. That was a name drop right there.
He's writing Vampirella Mind Warp. Issue 4 comes out next week.
Okay. Talking to Jeff Parker. All right. So, Neil, I'm so sorry, dude. I can't believe it's that cold up there already.
Well, it is. It's near the top of the world. I mean, depending on where you are, there's all kinds of weird lake climate temperatures. And I read this whole article about the unique geography of Canada. People don't realize. They're like, oh, they're north. They're really cool. They've got great food and beer. Yeah, all that's true. They've also got a pretty significant climate profile difference than we do here. People don't realize how fortunate we are here. Now things are getting a little dicey because of climate change or whatever. But for a long time, we've had it way easier than the Canadians have.
I just went to the car in Ohio, I left a bottle of water in there 2 hours ago. It's an ice cube now.
There you go.
Dude, how cold is it in Ohio right now?
With the wind chill is 4.
Yikes, that's 4.
What?
4.
It was 60 Saturday.
Robbie's like, oh, it's chilly here. It
was 60 Saturday?
Yeah, we moved my buddy's house on Saturday, and it was 60. Today it's 4. It's supposed to be in the mid-30s later in the week, and it's like a heat wave.
It's not quite that bad here, but we had temps pushing 60. And then last night it was 29.
Yeah,
if you're
I woke up this morning, looked out in my backyard, and I'm like, oh, that's frost.
If you're further away from Lake Erie, it's better, I'm told. But where I'm at, right next to Lake Erie, it is
I can imagine.
The 3rd level of hell.
Oh no.
Which I believe is the frozen level. So yeah.
That's why it cracks me up when some of our viewers like they're in Florida and they're like, oh, it's chilly, man. It's
55.
It's 55. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right?
We still wear shorts here in 55. Well, I don't, but people do.
No, I do.
John, our guy in accounting, I think he wore shorts today.
Well, I told the guy in accounting, I said, look, man, I said, you're working in a comic book store, you're a comic book company, you can wear shorts.
Hey, Geek Collective, nobody wants to hear about your nice 70 degrees in Arizona.
Yeah, everybody loves Arizona now. When Arizona was on the news because it's like
137
degrees and metal is
Who's
melting
laughing
off cars.
Yeah, 105 in Arizona. And who's laughing now? Not us. Generally, that means it's 98 here anyway.
I'm out.
That's why when we had when Bueller was visiting me for a weekend during Free Comic Book Day, I was like, so what's the plan, man? This and that. And he goes, well, the plan is in the summer, I'm going to be traveling north. And in the winter, I'll be traveling in the south.
I was like, that's idea, right?
He's like, what's the point of living on the road if I don't get to choose my own climate?
That's a good point.
Not only that, but I don't like driving, I don't like driving like a Ram 1500 in snow. I can't imagine how tough it's got to be to drive like a motorhome, RV or something like that in snow. Those things are difficult enough to drive.
Which reminds me, I need to get 4 new tires. Last time I took my car into service, they warned me I need new tires.
I got a buddy who's a truck driver. He drives like 18-wheelers and stuff for like Books A Million. And he's told me some horror stories about ice roads and like narrow roads and almost falling off a mountain one time. He flipped his truck one time on an icy road. Didn't they do a whole show about that? About the
I used to watch that show, Ice Road Truckers. I love that show. Okay, and especially when they drove that one section, which freezes over in the winter, is only open during the winter. Man, and you watch, they have cameras underneath, and you watch as it's cracking and creaking, and I love that show. No. I didn't say I wanted to do it. I said I like watching the show and these guys, these truckers doing it.
It's like these videos where they're showing these cliffs in remote parts of the world, right? And there's like some girl like leaning over to get a selfie, and I'm like,
yeah, that's just
what
stupid.
Are you doing?
People fall off those things all the time.
What are you doing? I mean, unless you've discovered how to fly, I don't need that photo.
So there's one place, and this is probably the I hated driving us out of there.
Yeah, Neil's talking about right now when he sends pallets up north on the ice roads.
Wow.
Imagine your route to work melts halfway through the year.
Dude, I don't have to imagine it. I watched that show, man.
I'm picturing
the things they worry about, and oh my God.
I'm picturing like a massive sinkhole opening up near the Jamesburg exit of the turnpike. Like the state would stop. Everybody would just be around the hole looking like.
Well, I remember from that show, one of the dangerous things is waves under the ice, which can cause the whole ice shelf to kind of like shift. And oh man, that I love that show.
I don't know how much the ice road truckers make, but I'm saying definitively right now, it's probably not enough.
I would probably agree.
I think one of the points why people do it though is the same thing with like the crab fishing and stuff. I remember friends that were like talking about how they could go up there just to work for a couple months and be set for the rest of the year. But then those shows come out and you're like, well, look what you have to deal with, man.
Yeah,
like that's
exactly
crazy.
Hello. Yeah.
I've seen the crab show too. That's just
Deadliest Catch. Love that one too. Yeah.
Guy, I watch it. Guy's got his daughter out there in the boat now, and I'm like, good luck, man. I love crab. Don't get me wrong, but I'll have chicken, so you don't have to.
Like, we appreciate your service because we love that crab so much. So much.
Well, here's the thing: the scariest road I ever drove on, probably from that perspective, is in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco area. There is a national park. It's called Muir Woods, right? Some of the oldest, tallest oaks you'll ever see in the country. And it's a real tourist site. It's really cool to go and visit. But to get there, you have to wind down this road with no guardrail off the side of this kind of like mountain. And when you're leaving, obviously, you're on the edge with the side. And I'll never forget, there was like a left curve. And I'm driving, right? Me, my daughter, my parents. I'm driving, and it really makes me nervous because you're on the edge where the cliff is. And all of a sudden, as I'm edging towards this left curve, big tour buses come around the other way, dude. I'm literally gripping the steering wheel for dear life, you know. Oh my God. I couldn't do what those ice road truckers
I was
do.
not prepared for Asheville, North Carolina. Great town. Absolutely. I strongly recommend you go there. It has my kind of vibe. Foodie town, RC town, live music town. We're driving along and they're like, oh yeah, get off the main road. You don't want to get stuck in traffic. Do this, do that, whatever. We had rented a Ford Expedition, which is not a small vehicle.
No.
Got some family in the car driving along. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, turn here for like the bypass. I turn there, and by bypass, they mean
Lars,
bypassing
man.
everything. There is like, you looking over, my wife is looking over here, and it's like the bottom. And I was just like, suddenly I wish I'd been in like a Mini, because this thing was hitting like almost like both sides of the road. And I just wasn't prepared for that. And then when you mentioned it at the hotel, they're like, oh, yeah, that's scary. You should have put that in the brochure. I got to the hotel, and they're like, do you want to unpack? I'm like, no, I'll be at the bar.
All right, Preston. Well, we did do one. A Lars man took it. So let's do a second one, and I'll do the Rex Cap real quick. All right. So next up, let's do – you know what? Let's do another CCA. Let's do X-Men Battle of the Atoms, signed with Shang-Chi cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza.
Man, this has really got that Deadly Hands of Kung Fu energy.
So suggested retail of $149.99, and we have the one available for $61.
I love the hatching on the moon or whatever it is behind him too. The hatching is really cool. Yeah. I'm assuming that's the moon,
right? So this was a character of my choice. Just because we've done so many different things and we hadn't done this yet. So I figured we'd do that. Well, Jeff Whitey, what's going on, man?
This version of this character has all but disappeared.
Yes.
Like, this is the version I grew up with. Like, when you saw Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, this was like one of these black and white movies where people got jacked up by this guy. And you were like, this is the greatest thing I've ever read. Now there's like a different version of him. He almost looks more like a video game character. Super successful, the whole 10 rings thing. I don't have any problem with it. But I miss this version. The headband, the 70s haircut, the way the book was. I was always a fan of the black and white stuff more than the regular comic. But even the regular comic had this great sort of vibe to it. You know, kind of a unique inking, coloring palette. You just really don't see that. You don't really see that.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's do the Rex Cap, man. All right, you know what? Let me throw this out there as well. As always, we have the Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles. Suggested retail $40 or higher, so a $3.99 cover price or more. And we have it, as always, $5 for the 10-pack as a thank you to our viewers. 50 cents copy. You can't go wrong there. Then we did Willow #1 variant, the Buffy Vampire Slayer one, signed in silver by Jeff Parker. It is a best offer book, suggested retail of $69.99. Best offer book starting at $20. Then we did Strange Tales featuring Warlock #178, signed and from the personal file copies of Jim Starlin. Suggested retail of $300, and we have the one available for $200.
I'll tell you right now, when Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out, this won't be $200.
All right. All right. So Lars Man is offering the 20 on the Willow. You got it, buddy.
Just so Lars Man knows, that's not the Willow from the Warwick Davis show, because Rex didn't know that.
The Vampire Slayer, which I did say in the recap, sir. Thank you very much. I know you're an award winner and all, but seriously. So then we did.
When you have an award, you can correct him. That's what you can do.
I have plenty of awards. Just have nothing to do with comic books. All right. So then we did X-Men Battle of the Atoms, signed with Shang-Chi cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano.
I really love this.
All right, you got it, large man. No worries.
Yeah, Preston's just talking about it. I absolutely love those. Savage Sword, Deadly Hands, Tomb of Dracula, Rampaging Hulk. I mean, these were sort of like, I don't want to say ultimate versions of the character, but these were versions of the characters unfettered by the Comics Code for the most part. And the black and white format really allowed the penciler to just kind of go crazy on these stories. Certain things don't really hold up, and I hate to put it this way, but vintage books are great. I have a ton of them. I buy a ton of them. We sell them here all the time. But if you really sort of get into, somebody jumps into story from the 80s, some of the stuff really holds up, and it's the stuff you'd expect. And some of the stuff is just like, you know what? I have not seen anything from like that Curtis Verse magazine format that you don't pick up and doesn't hold up. Doesn't matter if it's Vampirella, Eerie, Creepy, The Rook, the Marvel stuff, Planet of the Apes, $6 Million Man. I always like to say there's a universe somewhere where we're selling black and white comics on this show and people barely remember comic books. Remember, they were small and weird and they had color. Who needed that?
All right. So I'm imagining that everybody thinks the Willow is obviously from the movie Willow. All right. So
I feel bad now because I was just trying to make a joke. I didn't realize I was
no.
That's
totally fine. No, bro.
I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Killing.
I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think that's a great pickup, and it's autographed by, who was it? Your homie Jeff Parker? Is that who autographed
his homie Jeff Parker?
Yeah,
his homie. All right, you know what? Let's do this. We had it as best offer starting at 20. We're gonna make it best offer starting at $1. Okay.
Oh,
see where this takes us.
Yeah, we're open side. That's right. All the Savage Sword. Is it on the buy? On the buses? On the bus fleet? I don't know. They're $9 each on Comixology. It's we don't do a lot about digital comics here, but if you are just sort of looking to, read the stuff, I kind of need the magazines. I've paid $20, $25 for, a copy of like Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. That's in terrible shape. I know I should probably only be paying $8 or $9, but I'm at the con and I want it, so I buy it.
Preston, Tom Bishop came in before you, buddy, at $1. So if you want, you have to be higher than $1, buddy. Marcus one time at band camp.
Yikes, that's funny.
Oh my God. So let me know, Preston. All right. So then let's do let me see.
Do we have any good books that people want?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Do we have another book that Robbie can tank the sale of?
I'm so sorry about that. I feel so bad.
It's all good. The truth is, I don't want someone to buy a book thinking it's one thing, and then it comes in the mail and it's like, oh, wait, what? No.
All right. So then, you know what? Let's do a slab book.
I will say, though, they did a bunch of really cool stuff. If you're like a Buffy fan and Buffy was canceled, those Buffy comics, I remember I wasn't feeling well, and a buddy of mine brought over like 8 or 10 trades of those, and I read them all. And at the time, my niece was like binging Buffy, so it was just on in my house. And I remember reading these things, and I'm like, these are really well done. A lot of Christos Gage artwork. They're just really
some of them are really good. I still got a bunch of them, and a lot of the little paperback collections, and there were some great ones in the Dark Horse era, and then there were some great ones when they started doing like season 8 and season 9, and the Angel and Faith series by Christos Gage was amazing.
A Spike. There was some very cool stuff there. If you're a fan of that Buffyverse, I guess we'll call it, or something, there's some really good stuff out there. And from what I've seen, it's not insanely expensive.
Tom, I got you at the $3. And hey, officially unofficial geek, thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining us. OUG. All right, so Tom, you are in the lead currently on Willow at 3. All right, let's get to another book real quick. All right, you got it, Preston. So we have Secret Warriors number 25, signed by Jonathan Hickman. And we have one available, number 4 of 25, for $29.99.
Wow. So get your drinks ready. So when I met Jonathan Hickman, he's a super cool dude, right? And Jonathan Hickman is an absolutely fantastic writer. He's such a cool dude too, right? And so we had Nick Pitara on our channel who did the artwork in Manhattan Projects. So when we were going to go to Heroes Con to meet Jonathan Hickman, Nick had told us, send me a picture of y'all. I'll send it to Hickman so he knows you're coming. And so when we go and chat with Jonathan Hickman, he looks at us all weird and funny, and he pulls out his phone and he's like, this is y'all. And so it was just a fun little way for Nick Pitara to help us get a good in on Hickman. We had a good conversation with him. 2 really super cool dudes. So that's 2 name drops.
2 name drops, people. Take 2 drinks, please. Tom, I got you as lead on $6 on Willow. Jeff, I did get your 5, but obviously Tom went up to Willow the Warwickless.
I like that. No confusion anymore.
No, sir. No, sir. All right. So let's see. What was I going to do? I was going to do.
I understand what you were doing, Rex, with the name being Willow, and I understood. I understand. Yeah.
All right. Oh my gosh. All right. So let's do a slab book. We've got Crypt of Shadows, #1. CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8. Suggested retail of $99.99. And we have the one available for $69.99. So pulling anything I see with Moon Knight on the cover.
It looks like a better cape on the cover than it did in its own show.
That was coming. I knew that was coming.
Just saying. They did. By the way, they were able to do CG Man-Thing really well, but they can't do a cape on Moon Knight. It's so crazy.
Ouch. Moon Knight had its problems.
It did. Hey,
Oscar Isaac was not one of them, let me be clear. But beyond Oscar Isaac, there were some difficulties.
Oh my gosh. All right. So
and yeah, if there's anyone who hasn't seen Werewolf by Night, watch that. As soon as this show and Robbie's show and over, whatever, but probably about 10, 11 o'clock, go put Werewolf by Night on. That's I still hear see people, oh no, I haven't watched that yet. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, the best Disney Plus Marvel shows are the specials so far. The Guardians Holiday Special and
the Holiday Special. These are really sort of.
All right, so let me see. To remind everybody, the giveaway tonight is Betty Page #1, Atlas Comics limited edition series by David Avalone. Suggested retail $49.99. All you have to put up is #LoveEXP, all lowercase, to enter for the drawing, which we will do after best offer books end. So if you are just joining us, make sure you throw that up there for a chance to be part of the drawing. All right, so let me see. All right, so let's do another book. So we've got Fantastic Four number 586, signed by fantastic artist Steve Epting. And it is number 17 of only 65 signed. We have one available, and we were going to do it at $40. Okay, but we're going to do something crazy. We're going to make this best offer starting at $10, and we're going to cap it at $40.
Oh, wow. That's very cool. Especially Red Thing fans. That's
all right. So if you just want it, it's $40. Otherwise, it's best offers starting at $10.
I love Epting's artwork so much, and especially on this Fantastic Four run. Good stuff.
Everybody always talks about you can't do the Fantastic Four without Dr. Doom. I don't agree with that. I think the high water mark. I mean, Dr. Doom, you could say he's essential to the mythos. I wouldn't argue with that at all. But the high water mark for the Fantastic Four on multiple occasions is always Galactus. That's like the mountaintop for them. From in almost every 10 or 15 years, there's a really cool story, and then it culminates in Galactus.
Jeff, I got you, Preston. Jeff beat you to it at the 10, so you're gonna have to come up, somebody. God, I'm sorry.
And that's and that's where I feel we've talked about the Ultimates before, both with Robbie and with Alec. I think that's one sort of misstep in the Ultimate Fantastic Four. They turn Galactus into some sort of weird phenomenon.
It was like a swarm of like drones almost in a way, right?
Yeah. It wasn't good. It was not good.
They They also gave Dr. Doom like goat legs and like biomechanical armor, and like why did they go so weird when they did Ultimate Fantastic Four, man?
They really went too far. I don't know if maybe they went so weird because there was always the idea that Reed Richards was going to become the supervillain. You know, like evil Reed Richards is about as
lethal. But that wasn't the idea at the time, and you can totally tell because when Bendis did the Ultimate Doom and all that stuff, that stuff came out of nowhere. You know, that was at the time where the Ultimate books were kind of dying a slow death, right?
Yeah.
They had to juice it up. I get what you're saying. I wouldn't start with Galactus for a Fantastic Four movie. I would build up to that. That's a beyond Thanos level threat that we could build up.
I agree.
Right,
Preston, I got you up to 12.
To me, that's to use this. We use this. We use this slang a lot here. To get the Fantastic Four anywhere near an Avengers Assemble moment, it's got to be Galactus. I can't think of anything else that would, you could have
genius, bro. You could do a Thor movie with Terrax. You could do another movie with Firelord. You could build up to it slowly, and unlike the Black Order, who aren't that well known. Yeah, people know the Heralds of Galactus, right? And I think that's some of the best spec advice right now. And I'm not really a speculator, nor do I really give good advice on it. But Galactus Heralds, you can still get some of those pretty cheap.
Yeah. I would also say, too, if they're going to put real Galactus in a movie, they've got to get the right voice for it. Sort of like when they did the What If animated series, they found the right voice for the Watcher.
Marcus. All right, we got to take our last and final break. All right, so when we come back, we'll do the rest of the books. I'll do a Rex cap, and then we'll continue talking about whatever we're talking about. All right, stay with us.
This is The Experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey there. Hi there. Hello there. You're as welcome as can be.
Hi, I'm Nancy McCann. Welcome to Friday Night Live on The Experience.
Welcome, everybody. It's Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out. There I am. Welcome back to Kicking It with Henry, folks. I am your host, Henry Kumpa. It's great to be here with you guys.
So we are going to talk about books that are in stores this week.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mishmash.
Hello, and welcome to the Black Comics Universe, presented by Peep Game Comics.
And you gotta love it that the first people in a minute to skim it are creators.
Up, everybody! Welcome to another Wednesday Warriors. My name is Joey Galvez, and this is my pal Ambrosia.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Space Cadets.
Hey!
What's up?
Welcome, everyone, for another episode of I Must Ask You a Question.
Hi, everybody! Welcome to Nerd News Now.
Hey, this is Rex. Welcome to Comic Collectables.
Hey, hello, all you happy people. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the crazy show that we do on Thursdays called What's in the Box? What's in the Box?
Comic culture and sales.
We are back for the last time, like ever.
All right, so just throw it up one more time. Fantastic Four number 586, signed by Steve Epting, legendary artist.
Yeah, I just
hard signature to get.
there's not like there's a ton of these that are going to be coming in. Oh, I tried to close the door. There, I feel so lazy. We didn't close the door when we walked in. But there actually is like a business being run here. Everyone thinks this is like my personal comic book clubhouse, but other people just got.
All right, so we got Preston currently in the lead at $12. All right, so that is a best offer book. All right, let's start the last. Oh no, we have 2 CCAs left.
I mean, it's not like you see Epting doing like tons of signings right now.
All right, so we've got Mighty Avengers #1 signed with Captain Carter cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $149.99. We have the one available for $61.
I love this book. I'm real picky. I don't read any DC and hardly any Marvel with regularity. I love Captain Carter. I know it had its detractors, but I love the book. I love the character. I love the book. I'm happy seeing it in live action. I'm happy seeing it animated. I think it's a nice sort of counterpoint to. It's a nice way to still connect Captain America to the World War II era.
Did we throw it up yet, or did I miss it?
No, they're probably asleep on the other end.
Did you get that one, Jay?
You said Mighty Avengers?
Mighty Avengers #1. It's the one with Captain Carter sketch cover.
He probably doesn't have one.
I do not have that one.
There you go.
Do not have that one. Okay.
Well, let's try this.
We'll need the Vanna White treatment from John Cole.
I was going to say, if I have to get up one more time, that's going to constitute a workout. I haven't worked out in the 21st century. This is really, really cool. I like this a lot. I kind of like it, particularly the. There we go. I like what it did with the shield here.
All right, I'm gonna let John do his thing real quick. Yeah, keep showing the book. Do your Vanna White thing. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're just leaving?
Yeah,
how much are people supposed to pay for this?
This one is $61.
$61. I don't know where these prices come from, but
$61 probably for the first Silver Age appearance of Captain America or Sharon.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, we know how Nick thinks, right? He's only been doing that for like 40 years.
There you go. All right, and then we're gonna do our final sketch cover. Batman #125 signed with Failsafe cover sketch by Ken Hazer. Suggested retail $99.99. We have one available for $27.
$61 for the year the Marvel Universe relaunched.
Nice.
So there you go. $61 for the year. What? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Nick just said it's 1961 or $61.
Did John pick up the Punisher?
He did.
He
yes.
did. Make it 61 instead of 74.
All right. So John, buddy, it is 61 instead of 74.19, buddy. All right,
Talking
Preston.
about 1961, the year
Gotcha, Preston.
Marvel Universe was sort of re-kicked off.
Yeah.
Right.
And good job with this one, guys, because this is so of the moment. Failsafe, for instance, the final issue of that initial arc with Failsafe just came out, or it comes out tomorrow. So
is it tomorrow? I was going to say, I didn't know if it
tomorrow.
was tomorrow in 2 weeks.
Tomorrow. This
DC
DC
literally
special,
just
man.
came in.
DC special, they got to release on a day before everybody, right?
So yeah, that literally just came in from Ken. So very cool. Nice pickup, Preston.
Yeah, Preston, that's really nice.
That's an insane price too. It's the first person to own a Ken Hazer Failsafe, right? Probably.
There you go. All right, let's get to you know what? Here we go. Let's do all right. So we have a holiday mystery pack. Let me see. All right, so no, I'm not, but I gotta tell them what they're getting. No wonder your wife's so happy when you come here to do the show.
My wife reminded me about, didn't you and your friends want to get away for a few days?
Hint. All right, so you're going to get one signed book, one limited edition variant cover, and a metal book. All right, so let me do.
Apparently, people in the chat are fan casting Marvel movies with like the American.
All right,
podcast.
Lars, man, you got it, buddy. All right, can you do your Vanna White thing again?
Sure.
All right, Lars, man, here you go. This is what you got.
You got the picture, remember?
Oh, no, never mind.
Okay.
Amy sent the picture. Thank you, Amy. All right, so you're getting Deadpool versus X-Force, #4, signed by, you actually got 2 signatures here. That's weird. No, you only have one. Dwayne Swarzynski. Why can't everybody just be John Smith? Immortal Red Sonja, number 7.
So Joseph Michael
Linzer. And the Army of Darkness, 1979, Ken Hazer homage cover, number 3. And it is the metal cover. So you're getting all 3 of those, buddy, for $50. You got it. Nice. All right. Good pickup, my friend. So let me do some quick math. So that's 50 plus 100. So $200 in value at retail prices, my friend. All right. So this is coming your way. All right. There we go.
Preston, you're right. That did look like a Hasbro Sentinel.
People like these mystery packs, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. People love a surprise, right? I think that's why we all love Christmas so much, because of the surprises.
I don't like surprises. usually the surprises are a service trying to serve me something.
I forget those Red Sonja books, the colored line art books. I don't know exact number. There's not a lot of those, Lars, man. You're absolutely right. Those are pretty. Like there'll be a version of this. I didn't even know where it was with that in red, and there's going to be very few of those.
Hey, Ryan, Riley, thanks for joining us, buddy. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Well, you know what? I'll make a commitment on Wednesday. We'll have more than one mystery pack.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't we try to do one?
Yeah, we'll do 2 or 3 or something like that. All right. So let me get through the rest of the books. And we have Dark Knights Metal number 5, comic sketch art, Planet Comic-Con exclusive, signed by Team Supreme, Scott Schneider and Greg Capullo. It's just a retail of $99.99, and it's one of our 5-star books at $50.
That's a nice pickup for a Gold Signature Series book for $50. That's pretty nice.
And 2 of the top tier creators in the industry. Period.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. So then let's do a last couple.
Well, basically, they turned over Comixology to Scott Snyder. If you have that format, he does a ton of really cool stuff out there. It seems like he just does one series after one series after one series. Then eventually, I think they come out, but they're sort of done first digitally. And I got to tell you, those are worth the price of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I forget. Comixology is like $8 a month. It's literally
something like that. I know that when they went to Amazon, there's been some mishap.
What kind of coffee you drink, John? $8 for a cup of coffee.
John drinks coffee with lard and bacon fat.
Now, I do have kind of, don't get me wrong. If I'm at a Wawa, I'll drink Wawa coffee. But,
Where do you go for an $8 cup of coffee? And will you buy me one?
They have, depending on time of year, if you go to Nordstrom's Espresso Bar, they'll have Kona Plantation Reserve. And I think that's I'll always leave like $1 in the tip jar. So yeah, it winds up being $8 or $9.
Rex is like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. He's like, a $5 milkshake. Does it got bourbon in it? I gotta try $5
in a lot of ways, Rex is the exact opposite of me, right? Rex will be like, I'm fine paying $1 for this cup of coffee. And if I have to drink $1 coffee, I feel like I've done something wrong.
I'm not going to lie, right? So before I go to practices during the week after I leave work, right, I would stop at Wawa and get myself a cup of coffee. So I stopped doing that. What I do is I bring my own tumbler and I go to the Keurig machine here at work, okay, and I fill up my cup and then leave the office.
You fill it up with office free coffee?
Well, yeah.
The biggest reason I didn't accept the job here at Dynamite is Nick didn't want to spend the $2,800 on an appropriate espresso machine.
So life hacks with Rex.
So my buddy from.
I was going to say life hacks with Rex, man. If you got a game, you need a tumbler full of coffee, go to your nearest car dealership. Just walk into the.
Wait. I got a better hack. John will appreciate this, right? So I go to Angela's, right? So this one place that they have a couple of shops around here, Angela's Pizza. So they're one of the few places where they'll have slices up, and you can ask for, whatever toppings you want, and they throw it on top and they put it in the oven. And I usually get anchovies. Not as good as the ones that, if you get the whole pie, it's baked in, right? But you know what? I mean, I'm not going to order an entire pie. I could never do it when my daughter was always home because she hates anchovies, right? So that's what I do, right? So then I ordered 2 slices of anchovies, with anchovies, and I realized that they put a lot of anchovies on it because I've been going there for like 20 years. They know me, right? So I finally got smart. I said, what am I doing?
You brought anchovies in a little can?
No. Wait, come on, John. That's a dumb solution. Okay? No. What I do is I get 1 slice with anchovies, 1 slice plain. Then when I get home, I start migrating some of the anchovies from slice number 1 to slice number 2.
Are you the dude that goes to the restaurant, asks for water with extra lemon and sugar?
No, because I don't really like tea bags.
You grabbing like 40 sugars at the Wawa, putting them in your pocket. So,
I'm not going to lie. I steal a lot of plastic cutlery from Wawa. I get a soup. I'm grabbing 2 spoons, 2 forks, and 2 knives. Mind you, I ordered soup.
My wife
and 8 of those free saltine crackers. I'm like, give me that.
My wife and I do a lot of stuff for the community. I think instead of giving it to strangers, I'm going to drop all the food off at your house. Merry Christmas, man.
Hey, Stevie B, I will say that I am still in the building while I access that coffee. Okay?
Nice.
See?
Edward, I love anchovies, by the way. I absolutely love anchovies. You know who does? Nick does, too.
Nick loves anchovies.
Nick loves anchovies.
John loves anchovies.
This is a place
I love anchovies.
We can order a pizza and everybody.
And all anchovies, and we're totally fine. It's probably the only way that all of us can get along is we have a common love of anchovies. I don't believe people don't like it.
I used to do like a cast iron pizza, and I would put the anchovies and the anchovy oil on the dough, so it'd be protected, would soak in. Then I would do the cheese and then the sauce at the top and then the dry cheese. So you would nothing would get overcooked. I wouldn't quite call it a Chicago pan pizza. It was a cast iron pan pizza, but it was pretty tasty.
I will say that, hey.
Yes, it's Wawa. Last man is right.
Yes, you are correct, Lawrence man.
Rumor is it's an Indian word for goose, which is why the goose is the Wawa symbol.
I never knew that.
You guys talk about Wawa so much. I was looking it up because you guys have been talking about the cobbler or the gobbler or whatever. I had no idea. I looked it up. I'm jealous we don't have Wawas down here.
I have to admit, it's one of the greatest things here. Royal Farms has tried to muscle in because Wawa's been trying to muscle down south.
They are in like a bidding war right now where a Royal Farms pops up and a Wawa pops up. The problem for Royal Farms, I know they have their gas station chicken and a lot of people like it. Wawa is like culturalized, more so in South Jersey than even Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
There are other convenience stores in Pennsylvania like Sheetz, and they sort of go back and forth. Wawa was one of the very few companies when South Jersey 40 years ago, there was nothing here. Literally, it was in Atlantic City and nothing. Wawa was the first one to plant their flag and say, we're going to put a Wawa in every neighborhood. And they did. And now, 30, 40 years later, there's still a Wawa in every neighborhood. But you've got people taking their kids, in some cases, their grandkids to Wawa. Royal Farms fried chicken is not going to, you know what I mean?
Rubenstein, oh my God, no, it is not just like a 7-Eleven.
No, it is not.
All right, so the thing about Wawa, why it's so, first of all, it's almost on every block. So there are 3 Wawas within my
Jeff, I know. Wawa, Pennsylvania is named, the word Wawa comes, Jeff is mentioning that it's from Wawa, Pennsylvania. It is Wawa, Pennsylvania, but the word Wawa comes from the Indians of the area. It was a word for goose, which is why the goose is right. I kind of know the Wood family a little bit, who were like the founders. I kind of know where the name came from.
Yeah, CJ, I bet you learned real quick, buddy. Yeah, it don't work that way. If you in Langhorne, PA. Yeah, welcome to the State Store. Okay?
Oh yeah, right.
Or the beer distributors. But yeah, so Wawa, it's so hard to compete with Wawa,
I've
man.
got 2 Wawa facts for you guys.
What's that?
Do you know why Wawa started?
Why?
Do you?
No, go ahead, tell us.
No, but they were a farm and they were selling milk, and nobody would carry their milk, so they started opening up their own stores.
Oh, no kidding.
That was a little bit of the Turkey Hill story.
Yep.
Turkey Hill was very similar. They had their ice cream, they had their stuff, and nobody wanted it, so they said.
Do you know why Wawa won't go public?
Because the Wood family likes their money.
That's because they said if we go public, we have to start making short-term decisions to make the quarter look better. We prefer to make long-term decisions.
That's a good reason. That's a really good reason.
We don't need the money. Why would we go public just to hurt the brand?
Jay, the voice off screen is God.
The voice Palestinian guy.
Really?
Yeah. Jeff just said it. There was an Indian tribe. We just talked about this, where the Gooks. That's where Wawa came from. That's where.
Did I jump enough?
Photobomb. Who said when you lived in the Orlando area?
Yeah, there's a Wawa in Orlando.
They're all over in Florida.
The further you get from the source, like if you go to a Wawa in Virginia, it's a little bit different than the ones in Jersey and Pennsylvania, and it's different too. They sort of, I don't want to say they.
Heritage screwed up. They could have been another Wawa.
Yeah, they did.
They wanted to
Heritage
be
Farms.
small, and they wanted to be what they wanted to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
they
like
succeeded.
Heritage, but
So do I.
you know, I'm not.
Haven't
driving,
seen one in decades.
I'm not driving.
Nah,
40
there's one
minutes
up
to
way
get
up
to
on
one.
73 towards
there
the
used to
Conemaugh
be
Bridge.
one when I was in Runnymede.
Yeah, no, they can't support that, dude. There's Wawas
They
everywhere.
closed
No,
down?
that's still there. And last time I was there, it was still
Okay.
there. All right, let me get through the rest of the book, and I will tell you the greatness of Wawa. All right, so next up we have Annihilation Scourge, Beta Ray Bill #1, signed in silver by Michael Morici. Suggested retail of $69.99. It is #1 of the edition of only 50 signed.
Cover, man.
Signed in silver, and we have it available 5-star at $50. All right, and then we have you got that right, Center 24. Vampirella versus Red Sonja #2, FOC Virgin Incentive cover, 1-in-10 ratio by Lucio Perillo. So this is part 2 of it. Suggested retail of $50, and we have one available for $40.
See some covers, don't need collars.
Yeah, right. And then we had Red Sonja Holiday Special 2021 FOC Virgin Incentive cover, 1-in-11 ratio by Joseph Michael Linzer. Suggested retail of $50, and we have the
Did
one
anybody
available
claim
for
the Lucio
$40.
Padilla?
No.
Make it 20.
All right, so both of them.
Yeah.
All right, so Lucio Perillos are now down to 20. All right, so that's Vampirella versus Red Sonja #1, FOC Virgin Incentive UV cover by Lucio Perillo.
Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet, I said that.
Okay, you said UV.
Everybody knows what UV means.
All right.
All right.
$20.
So then
I'm getting a text from the
Lars
board
Man,
to get Nick a
wait.
farm sandwich.
Where Rupenstein claim what everybody both
Papillons.
All right, so gotcha, Lars Man.
All right, you got them both, $20 each.
All right, and then hold on, who else?
Yeah, you gotta scroll back and see who.
Preston. Looks like Lars Man beat you on that one, buddy.
I suddenly hate scale mail.
Where
Nice.
Rupenstein claimed Gamora.
Did we do Gamora?
Did we do?
Is he talking about the ultraviolet making Red Sonja looking like Gamora? Maybe.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
Maybe, but hey guys,
You know
sorry.
what? You know what? On those two books, I actually usually get a bunch of these. I tell you what, give Rupenstein the one that he wanted.
All right, which one was the one with Gamora?
I think he wants Red Sonja.
Wait, claim Red Sonja Vampy. No.
Who did you say got it first?
Lars Man got it first.
Okay,
and
so
where
give it to Lars
Rupenstein,
Man.
right? I already got that. Where Rupenstein wants to claim Gamora. Which one is the one?
Red Sonja. Gamora's Red Sonja.
Okay, so that's where Rupenstein.
All right,
the holiday special.
And give Preston this.
Is that #1 or #2?
I don't know. All I know is that she looks like Gamora right there.
She's green, Rex. Do you see it? Come on, bro.
I see that, but I don't know whether that's #1 or #2.
Give Preston both as well. We'll figure it out.
All right, so where Rupenstein, you're good, buddy.
The green one is #2.
Okay, so where Rupenstein, you're good.
She does look like Gamora on that cover with the like.
All right, Preston, we got you as well, buddy. You've got both of them
See,
as
I
well.
think we startled everybody because we hadn't done any books for a while, and then you throw out a few books, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" They're finally putting some stuff out.
Now Rex is like, "Where's the Guardians of the Galaxy book?"
when somebody said Gamora, I'm like, "Did I cut off? Did we do a Guardians book?" Or
Yeah, well, there was that one where I was calling her She-Hulk, the cover sketch.
Oh my goodness!
Remember? All right, we only got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to do the Rex cap.
CJ design is exactly right. Amy will figure it out.
All right, here we go. So this is the Rex cap. We did Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles, $40 retail. We Got it for $5 as always. Yeah, Preston, you picked up both of those books. We have more than one. So then we did Secret Warriors number 23, signed by Jonathan Hickman. It is number 4 of only 25 signed, and we have one available for $29.99. Then we did Dark Knight's Metal number 5, comic sketch art, Planet Comic-Con exclusive, signed by Team Supreme, Scott Schneider and Greg Capullo. Suggested retail of $99.99. We have one available, signed in gold for $50.
Yeah, those Gold Signature Series books, $50. That's
all right.
That's going to be a nice pickup for somebody.
Then Willow number 1 variant, signed in silver by Jeff Parker. Currently, Tom Bishop is in the lead at 6. Then we did FF number 586, signed by Steve Epting, and currently Press is in the lead at 12. Then we did Annihilation Scourge, Beta Ray Bill number 1, signed in silver by Michael Morrissey. It's just a retail of $69.99. We have number 1, the beginning of the edition of only 50 signed in silver. It's 5-star at $50. Then we did Strange Tales featuring Warlock number 178, signed and from the personal file copies of Jim Starlin. And we have the one available for $200. All right, where Rupenstein, you got it, buddy. You are at 15. All right. Then we did X-Men Battle of the Atom, signed with Shang-Chi, cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariana Nicieza. Suggested retail of $149.99, and we have the one available for $61. And then we had Mighty Avengers number 1, signed with Captain Carter, cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariana Nicieza.
Do I have to put that up there?
What's that?
Do I have to put Captain Carter up there? We don't have it.
Yeah, you mind? It's just a retail of $149.99, and we have the one available for $61.
I really like this book. I particularly like the way the shields came out.
All right. And then we had Porcelain number 1, CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8. It's just a retail of $89.99. It is a best offer book, and where Rupenstein is in the lead at 35. Then we had Crypt of Shadows number 1, CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8. Suggested retail of $99.99. We have the one available for $69.99. And then we did.
I love the way they find a way to work Wolverine into everything.
Yeah, right.
Decades of working Wolverine. It doesn't matter
and then,
if it's like cosmic, mystic, martial art. Oh, let's put Wolverine in there. I got it, man.
Then we had Red Sonja Holiday Special 2021 FOC Virgin Incentive Cover 1 of 11 ratio by Joseph Michael Linsner.
That's like so atypical.
So just a retail at 50. And we have one available at 40. But since Nick lowered the Lucio Perillos, let's do that at 20. All right. So last minute pickup, if anybody wants a Red Sonja Holiday Special 2021, that's 20. And then we had the Betty Page number 1 Atlas Comics limited edition series signed by Dave Avalone. It is the giveaway item. All right, Lars, man, you got it, buddy. So all you have to do is throw up hashtag LoveEXP, all lowercase, to enter the giveaway. So if you haven't entered, go ahead and enter right now. Preston, Lars, man, got it before you, buddy. So I'm sorry. But I could probably find another one. If you want it, I will find another one and get that one to you as well. All right. I will let you know, Preston. All right. Let's see. And so, hey, Preston, I think we've got another one. So I'm going to try to get another one for you, buddy. So you'll get one at 20 as well. All right. So here, Marcus. You crack me up, bro. All right. So I guess we can go ahead. So give everybody a minute. So hashtag LoveEXP, all lowercase, to enter the drawing for the Betty Page number 1 signed by Dave Avalone. All right, Preston, you got it, buddy. All right. So just making sure everybody's entered. Jay, are you there, buddy? I'd say you can go ahead and spin that wheel, brother.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.
I don't think Kenneth Bird needs any more luck.
I know, right? If Kenneth Bird wins again, this is rigged, man.
And weird.
Congratulations, bud.
Congratulations, my friend. And Weird is the winner.
Edward posts some funny stuff on Facebook, man. He keeps me laughing throughout the day.
All right. So, are you doing the show tonight?
Yes, we got our movie review. We're actually talking about Go tonight, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies. So join us for Pop Culture Philosophers movie night. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
All right. So make sure you
it's the
award. All right. Make sure you pop over to the award-winning PCP Pop Culture Philosophers with our buddy Robbie. You didn't get the award yet, did you?
No, it's in the mail, but they didn't add the S onto the award, so it just says Pop Culture Philosopher. So I'm just gonna Sharpie it, put the S on it.
All right, we gotta let us know when it comes so we can
we'll put it on the show.
Oh, obviously, we're gonna have our own little award-winning show.
You don't think I'm gonna have that thing behind me at all times?
Oh no, we're gonna have to have you hold it and give a speech.
I don't think he would do that. I'm surprised that Alec doesn't have Miss Ellie on the show more. Because, I mean, that's like, that's the attraction.
Because Miss Ellie belongs to Alec?
No, what I said was Alec should have Miss Ellie on the way Robbie will have this plaque on.
Okay.
Is there bourbon in your coffee?
No, is there beer in that can?
There should have been beer in this can.
Rex ain't drinking no $8 coffee, man. That came from the office Keurig machine, and you know it.
He saw Nitro Cold Brew on here, and he was like,
I'm like, whoa.
Look at me drinking already.
No, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking that SOB brought a beer and didn't bring me one. What the hell?
I could have killed two birds with one stone. I have some coffee ale at the house. I brought back from South Carolina.
You're just
very,
mean,
very
dude.
good.
You're just mean. That's all I can say. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. So now this works for John and Robbie.
Robbie, it's Robbie, man.
So
I need to call up my movie theater and let them know.
So
Thanks
when
everybody
it
for
comes,
joining us.
yes, but when it comes, we need to have a presentation, and you need to give a speech, an acceptance speech.
You do the whole thing. Right?
They made me do that last night, but I'll do it again, sure.
Yeah, but you're going to be doing it for people that actually matter.
Lars, man, we're glad take it easy, man. I hope you recover. I'm glad you had a little fun.
Lars, man, I'm glad you're feeling better, buddy. Thank you for everybody that joined us tonight. Thank you for anybody that's new. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
if you can, hit the thumbs up before you check out of here.
Robbie's show is at 9.
Robbie's show is at 9 Eastern.
We have at 8, Jay. Was it Jay? Is Jay up there tonight?
I don't know.
Who we have something at 8, I think.
Mishmash, right?
Yeah, it's going to be Mishmash with Jenna.
There you go. Bud. All right, so we're going to get out of here. John and I will be back Wednesday with AR Comics, Alec. And, of course, Nick has his art show on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And be sure to tune in to Pop Culture Philosophers on Friday at noontime Eastern. Robbie and I do our little show together, and God only knows what the topic will be.
The randomizer will let you know at like 10:45.
Usually, sometimes it gets a little late, and it's coming over at like 11:15. Whatever. All right. See you, everyone.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.